So I will be showing you and explaining you a cold email. So pretty much this doesn't necessarily go out and get clients. Um, this can get you clients, but also, or potential clients, I guess, information, but it is sending cold emails. So you got to get the information. Of course, there can be something built. I use Apollo to get my emails, but this also isn't the only way I reach clients, of course. You got to have multiple variations of reaching out to people, and of course, people reaching in. Check out the last video, you'll see this, the inbound side of a business. But if you need help with something like a cold email system where you're sending a bunch of emails a day, you're spending hours on emails, or you want to build this for someone, you want to start getting into AI, perfect. So what does this do? This runs every day at 9 a.m. Get rows in a sheet. So I'm not going to show you a sheet because I actually use this and I'm not really going to clear it out because I got, a couple hundred clients in there. See, with the inbound, I kind of already had a demo thing linked up to it. Don't have the demo thing really anymore for the cold email that I used for testing. So that's kind of unfortunate, but maybe in the future I'll make a video and build one from scratch for you guys. But I can explain everything through, and it's pretty simple, really. So get rows in sheet. So sheet, NA, NAN, outbound leads. So what does this do? It gets the email, the name, the information, company name, website, you name it. And then once everything is all done and said, the email is sent. There's an email sent column. Checks it off. Well, it actually just puts yes for sent. If not, it just stays empty. So, and then there's actually another little bit with this that in another workflow that I will explain later. But then it goes into an Anthropic model. So here we go. Write a personalized cold email, blah, blah, blah. First name is empty or blank. So you just got to put in a prompt. It does it itself. And really, that's the core of this automation is that you aren't sitting there writing a bunch of emails. You know, this can get 30 people done in about 30 seconds to a minute, depending on connection. But we got Ethernet, so I'm chilling. But it saves you a bunch of time. You can, you know, work on other stuff. More, I guess, important things that you need to assess to than a cold email. Bunch of companies are using cold email as an outreach. Why not automate it? It's a perfect system to be automated. You're spending a couple hours a day sending hundreds of emails, or you could automate it, maybe send 1,000 emails a day. But you would get flagged for spam and get your Gmail probably deactivated. So that maybe ain't the best idea. For me, typically, I send about 25 to 50 a day. I don't do weekends. But this isn't the only way I reach out to people, so that's why I kind of keep it small. Plus, I don't want to get flagged for a spammer. But then it just sends the email, updates the row and sheet to email sent to yes, and the date and time of last contacted. And then it just email sent into that Airtable that we talked about. And the inbound actually, where is it? Okay, so update row and sheet to the last contacted. That changes to that. If it's a reply. If it's a follow-up, it'll change. So this is pretty much the same thing. So this runs 9 a.m. every couple days. It it runs every day, but really it runs every 3 days. So I won't, this doesn't flood people like every 3 days. It will send an email to someone if they don't respond. It just does one email, and that's it. If they don't want to respond, they're missing out on some biz, man. I don't know what to tell them. But it gets rows in the sheets. So if the replied is empty, but the email sent a yes, this is what triggers it. And the if, so if it's true, you know, goes to the AI agent that writes up a second email to send to the person, updates the row and sheet last contacted, and follow up sent column to yes. If they have replied, does nothing. This literally does nothing. Pretty simple, right? So you're not, you know, potentially losing a client because of one email. They're going to get two emails in the span of 3 to 4 days, which is, not being too pushy. But the last thing of outbound is reply detection. So this says it in the name. It just really detects if someone replies to the email. So it runs every day, every 5 minutes, and it reads your inbox and goes to an if node. So if it's true that someone has replied to one of the emails you have sent them, it gets the replied row in the sheet and updates it to yes, and then marks the message as read, and then it goes into the fancy little Airtable record CRM integration system and marks it as replied. So yeah, that's a full outbound. I wouldn't say full. You can't really automate, I guess. Well, I mean you can, but you can't really like automate for with a good business for cold calling. That's something that I don't think people can tell if it's an AI voice. That's something not really authentic, but I think with emails, it's a great strategy. Great strategy for a small business to have something like this in their system. And the thing is with that, they don't even need to do anything. All they get is the results. Everything runs in the background, aka I'm the background. So therefore, really they're just getting the notifications and looking at their Google Sheet or Excel or whatever in their emails. I'm the one like, running it. So pretty much this would be a full inbound and outbound automation system for a client. And it works great. You know, it's a I'd recommend it, of course. A little self promo. I'd recommend it, of course, recommend it for me, but yeah. But that is a full oh, I already said that, man. Crap. But yeah, I think you guys get the gist now that this is, a good system to have. But if you're interested in learning more about an outbound automation system for your business, you can leave a comment, you can contact me, you can go to my website, or if you want to start something up like this, then just follow. I don't know, because I mean we will be building a bunch of stuff, and I will be showing it to the world. So I'd like to say thank you to everybody for their company. I don't know what the next one's gonna be, but we will see. Little OBS studio. All right. Peace out, everybody.